All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are now going to preview the play-in games for tonight: the Bulls and the Heat, and the Mavericks and the Kings. So these games, I mean, actually, Bulls Heat could be entertaining. Although I kind of lean towards the Bulls in that game. Mavs, I mean, it's interesting just because you want to see what this team is going to do in a big spot. Now post Luka, and believe me, we're not done with the Luka talk just yet for today because we're going to talk about Nico Harrison in the third part of the show, the midway point. But the Heat and the Bulls have actually matched up in the play-in before. This isn't the first time they've been in the play-in a handful of times. Since the play-in was implemented. And for the Heat, I mean, it's interesting because when you look at the Heat and you look at the Mavericks as well, both teams traded their star players, and both teams are, in the playoffs right now, and they're trying to get into the playoffs. Now the Heat, they have a chance because the Eastern Conference is weak, and the Western Conference is amazing, but when you look at the top eight, but the other two teams, I mean, realistically, they shouldn't really have a chance to make the playoffs, right? Both of these teams, the Kings and the Kings traded away someone too. They traded away De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. So both teams realistically shouldn't have an opportunity to get into the playoffs. And look, they still need to beat the winner of this game needs to beat the Grizzlies. So, but for both teams, so to go back to the Eastern Conference matchup, shall we? So yeah, they are playing. The Bulls and the Heat are playing in their third straight play-in game. They both traded away players at the deadline. For the Heat, they traded away Jimmy Butler. That whole saga. But yeah, both teams have played well down the stretch. The Bulls swept the regular season series versus the Heat. Looking at their matchups, the Bulls won 133 to 124 in the first game, 114 to 109 in the second game, and then 119 to 111 in the third game. The Bulls have shot 50% from the field, 40% from three. 33 plus assists in both games. The Bulls have outscored the Heat 75 to 41 in fourth quarters of the first two games. But yeah, they've looked better as of late. I mean, like I said, both teams have looked better as of late. The Bulls, I mean, they finished around 500. They won 3 straight to close out the year. They were 7-3 in their last 10 games. And for the Heat, they finished 37 and 45 on the year. They were 6-4 in their last 10 games. But yeah, looking at the comparison, I mean, you'd expect a big game out of Kobe White. The last time they went up against the Heat, well, he had 18 points in that game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Tyler Hero, he's had a very good season. He's averaged almost 24 points per game, and actually, did well down the stretch for the Heat. Of course, they still got Bam Adebayo as well. But I do like the Bulls in this game. They are the home team for this. They've they've owned the Heat. Now, you do have to respect Eric Spoelstra because he's still there, and they maybe have something up their sleeve, but I don't know. For me, the Heat are kind of there because the Eastern Conference is not great, and as well, same thing for the Bulls. So I'm going to lean towards the Bulls in this game. Both home teams went 2-0 yesterday, so we're going to continue that. Well, I'm going to hope that that trend continues today. I'm going to take the Bulls, though. And then for the later game, you got the Mavericks and the Kings. Both teams, they traded away guys. Like I said, De'Aaron Fox was traded to the Spurs. And, of course, Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers. Now, Anthony Davis, who the Mavericks got in the Luka trade, he has played well. I expect him to play well tonight. There are some respectable players on the Kings side with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis, Valanciunas. Got to give them respect. The Mavericks, there's no Kyrie Irving, but you do have Anthony Davis and everybody else, Klay Thompson, Gafford, P.J. Washington. You got all those guys, Spencer Dinwiddie. I think this is big for Nico Harrison because, at least every win just buys you more time. Because we'll get into the second part, we'll get into the second part of this Mavericks discussion when we get into the next segment. But fans are just up in arms over what this season became, what transpired. And this game for me is a toss-up. I'm kind of leaning towards the Kings in this game. I want to take the Mavericks because I feel bad. Now that's not to say I don't think the Mavericks have a chance, but I'm leaning towards the Kings right now. The Kings have been in this before. They knocked off the Warriors. I think it was last year in the play-in. They did at some point in the play-in. But yeah, and looking at how both teams looked down the stretch, Kings went 5-5 in their last 10 games. Mavericks went 4-6. Kings finished 40-42 on the year. Mavericks finished 39-43. So, again, like I said, if the play-in wasn't a thing, they wouldn't even, be still playing, but they are. But I am leaning towards the Kings. I am leaning towards the Kings tonight. Could be close, but I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. Is the Kings tonight? So I'm gonna go with the Bulls and the Kings. So both home teams win tonight, and they move on in the play-in. So if the Kings win, they'll move on to take on the Grizzlies. Bulls move on, they will take on the Hawks. So, and I think we've seen that play-in matchup before as well. But let me know what you guys think, though, about these two matchups tonight. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, once that happens, we'll have the other play-in games. And then Saturday starts the real thing. And it does look like I will potentially be at Madison Square Garden for Game 1, Knicks-Pistons. I have never been to an NBA game before. I really want to go. Now, the tickets are very pricey. And it's one of those things, you do it and you don't look back. Because going to Madison Square Garden for a Knicks playoff game, that atmosphere is going to be incredible. I've been to a handful of Yankee playoff games now. But now, like, my first NBA game is potentially going to be a Knicks playoff game, which I'm excited for. I really am. Hopefully the Knicks win, but, got to buy the tickets first. But I'm willing to sacrifice the significant amount to witness this event. So, yeah, there's that little bit of news. So, before we go to break, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate, get your comments recognized. Make sure to hit that super chat button in the chat if you want to see me acknowledge any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast. It makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day, so any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also, the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So, when we come back from our next break, we will talk about more so on Nico Harrison, some comments he had on the Luka trade and how he has no regrets. So we will get into that when we come back from our next break. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.